And welcome to your weekly UAS news update. We have 4 stories for you this week. The FAA has issued several large fines for pilots. We're going to detail a little bit of that. Paladin Drones launches a new NDAA-compliant drone. And then a new GAO report is going to flag some major safety gaps for BVLOS integration. And then lastly, Amazon delivery drone crashes in Texas yet again. Let's get to it. And first up, the FAA is sending a clear message here. The day of claiming ignorance are pretty much over. The agency posted a public enforcement summary detailing fines and license actions against drone operators, and the penalties are actually pretty steep. Now, these are not people that are just, busting 400 feet elevation. These are people that have done, well, a little bit more. The largest fine here was a whopping $36,770, so $36,000 for an operator who flew a drone near an emergency response aircraft during a wildfire. This was back in April of 2023. Also, there were 2 other fines that involved flying in TFR, with one operator that was getting a fine of over $20,000, and then another one having their license revoked entirely. Now, the FAA also fined an operator $14,790 for flying near the State Farm Stadium. This was during the Super Bowl in 2023. So these are actually old actions that I guess have taken a while to go through the system. Now, beyond fines, the FAA is also taking licenses. They suspended the license of an operator that was involved in that drone light show incident that we talked about a while back in Florida, where the 7-year-old boy was seriously injured. They also suspended the license of a pilot who flew over the NFL game in Baltimore. We also talked about that one back in the days. The agency has updated its policy to require legal action when a drone endangers the public, violates airspace, or is used in a crime. So, as always, don't be that guy. Check your airspace, use before you fly, and make sure that you fly safe. And speaking of don't be that guy, perfect segment to the new shirt that we promised. It's here. Get link in the description. And remember, as always, don't be that guy. Next up, Houston-based Paladin Drones has launched its new Knighthawk 2.0. The new Knighthawk is fully NDAA compliant. Now, for years, if you're not familiar with Paladin, they've built a DFR program on modified DJI hardware like the M30T and the M350, which works great, but creates some issues for agencies that are concerned about federal restrictions. Now, this new drone was revealed at the World Defense Show that was in Saudi Arabia, which suggests that maybe Paladin may be expanding internationally, which would make sense instead of remaining just domestic. The new Knighthawk 2.0 was created in partnership with the Polish company that's called Beyond Vision. This allows them to have a clean supply chain and also gives them credibility for international defense sales. Now, for the specs, Paladin claims that the Knighthawk 2.0 has a flight time of over 40 minutes, a top speed of 40 miles an hour, and can get to a 911 call in under 70 seconds, which is pretty cool. That's 20 seconds improvement over the previous claims that they had. It's equipped with a 4K wide and zoom camera, 640p thermal imager, and then 5G and LTE connectivity. All right, next up, a new report from the Government Accountability Office, that's GAO for short, is raising some serious questions about the future of drone integration. The report flags significant safety gaps in the FAA's plan to integrate drones into the national airspace, especially when it comes to beyond visual line of sight or BVLOS operations. Now, the GAO basically says that while the FAA has a long-term vision for the airspace where all aircraft are going to share data electronically, the actual plan lacks the concrete details that are needed to make it happen. This is very similar, by the way, to what happened with remote ID, where the FAA basically said, well, let the industry figure it out. It goes on to say that the FAA doesn't really define the specific action, responsibilities, or the technical milestones that are going to be required for drones to reliably communicate with or avoid other aircraft. The report points out that today's detect and avoid technology just are not ready for large-scale integration on their own. And this is something, quite frankly, that we've been talking about in our drone industry for quite a while. We need to have clear standardized systems for deconfliction before we have thousands of drones that are flying BVLOS with little to no FAA oversight as it's promised in proposed Part 108. The FAA is aware of these issues, by the way, which is one of the reasons why they reopened the comment period for the proposed Part 108 BVLOS rules, which ended as we are recording this today. That's the end of the comment period. The GAO's report essentially puts more pressure on the FAA to stop talking in hypothetical and basically start creating a detailed, actionable roadmap to make all of this happen. As BVLOS flights for things like delivery and inspections become more common, getting this absolutely right is crucial and also critical for the safety of everyone in the air and on the ground. And finally, since we're talking about this GAO report and why this is so important, another Amazon Prime Air delivery drone has crashed on the side of an apartment complex. This happened in Richardson, Texas. According to local officials, the drone struck the side of the building, fell onto a nearby sidewalk, and began smoking. Not a smoke break, just smoking because it fell. Thankfully, no one was injured, and while the smoke was visible on the video, the drone actually never caught on fire. The fire department was on the scene and one of the videos shot as well. It's also quite scary to see that the propellers continued to spin even after the crash, and with the people nearby taking a look at what the heck just happened. A witness who was working from home saw the drone flying and started recording just out of curiosity, only to capture the aftermath of the crash. Amazon has since apologized, launched an internal investigation, because that's going to do anything, and then is handling repairs to the building. Now, it's not clear whether or not the accident has been reported to the NTSB or the FAA, or is being investigated by the NTSB or the FAA. By the way, this is not the first time we talk about Amazon drone crashing in the wild. In fact, we saw 2 Amazon drone crash in a crane in Arizona. That was last year, at the end of the year. Incidents like this are a bit of a head scratcher to me. They do highlight the real world challenges of operating autonomous aircraft in dense residential areas and just in the airspace in general. Thankfully, there was no injuries here in this case, but there is also even more evidence that these operations do need to have some FAA oversight to make sure that, well, they're doing the right thing. Join us later in post-flight. This is where we'll be talking about some additional topics like the El Paso TFR that just happened, and then sharing some opinions on the stories that typically are not really suitable for YouTube. So we'll see you there. Thanks for watching. And again, don't be that guy.